Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk About Ice. Here we are again, doing it live Thursday night, my favourite night of the week. I am completely unprepared tonight, which is great, because I'm going to have a chat with a good friend here, Nathan. Nathan was addicted for 2 years, was that right, man? Using ice for 2 years, currently 2 years clean as well, so has a lot to say about the drug ice and addiction. So we're going to get to Nathan soon. We have a national launch happening. This is really exciting news. We are so excited about that because we've been working very hard for 3 years to get this up and going. Like I've shared in lots of videos, our primary goal is to get a mandatory educational program delivered to every student in this country by people with lived experience. And that's really the goal. And beyond that, our goal is to decrease, if not cease completely, ice addiction in this country. It doesn't need to be an issue. Let's get together, people, and sort this out. Enough people are talking about it. Lip service does nothing. We need to act on our ideas, get together and sort it out. If we do nothing, nothing's going to change. So join us. If you feel like it's an issue, join us. You can help us in many ways, one of which is by joining the AAIC Army. $5 a month, people. That's what we're asking for. Such a small donation that does so much. That's nearly 2 children educated, which is such a service. So if you feel called to join the Army, please do so. And if you feel to join the family, jump on board. You can volunteer, whatever you feel called to do. So the national launch is really exciting though. We're doing that at the end of the month. And without saying too much, keep an eye on all media platforms, because we've got some exciting news coming up about that, and hopefully we'll get a kickstart and be able to do what we've been saying for many years and get this program rolled out. So, family support number, is that? I hope you're all well. Lots of outreach this week. Once again, I was speaking to, I won't say who, but I was speaking to people and I was made aware that this drug is prevalent through the ages of 15-year-olds, young teenagers. That's very scary. This is real, people. It's not a joke. When we say 27 youth a day are picking up this drug, that's a survey and stats put out by the National Task Force. It is real. The drug is being used by our kids, which is very scary. Family support number straight up is 0481 844 555. If you are a family member and have a loved one in addiction, please give us a call. You're not alone. And you can call family support. We have people there that can help you through that. You're not alone. That's one thing I like to share. You're not. There's a lot of people out there who feel that they're alone with this, but a lot of families are going through this. So call the number 0481 844 555 if you're in that situation. Presenters, PS, by the way, I love being clean. I really do. I do. I love. Oh, what is it? I heard this quote. It was a bad day, a miserable day clean is so much better than the best day as an addict. And that's so very true. I'd rather have a miserable day clean than the best day as an addict by far. Presenters, we are doing this national launch and there's a very good chance that we're going to be rolling this out nationally after that. So we need presenters. If you are someone in recovery and you would like to get involved, it's such a blessing to be involved. Nathan, you did some training today. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah. For me personally, I just love it. I love being in a classroom, sharing my experience and giving back. So if you are someone that's in recovery and you feel like you would like to educate and give back, call us on 075 665 6063. I feel like I'm on telethon when I'm doing these numbers all the time. I do. I feel... but yeah, we need presenters. And I feel personally it will be a disservice for me not to share and give back. Like people that have been through this hell and got out of it, they really have insight into that world and how to do it. So you can turn around and you can help someone out of the mud. and we can educate the children as well so they know what's in it, and they, after the workshop, they're like, never, not even once. That's our message, not even once. Yes. So, is there anything else, people?
T-shirts are coming.
T-shirts are coming. I love being clean. I love being clean so much. And we've got shirts coming, lots of shirts, quote shirts. We've got a new street wear label coming, but I'm not going to say too much about that. That's under wraps. Lots of cool things happening over the next 4 weeks. Jim, you're amazing. Thank you so much for the support, mate. Great to see you online. Oh, Danny, my brother. Good to see you, mate. 2 thumbs up. Love you, bro. The number for family support, 0481 844 555. Lynn, not even once. You got it. That's our message. Righto. We are going to get to Nathan now. Is that it? What else?
At Christmas time in Toowoomba, they are having a Christmas lights tour. And don't forget the Melbourne launch date on the 19th of November.
19th, can't wait for that. We're all going to be down there. Come down and say hello, wherever you are in the country. Fly to Melbourne, come and say hello, meet the team, meet the family. Oh, and Andrea's going to be singing there, and I've had a sneak peek of her EP today. It's amazing, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It truly is amazing. I love music, amazing voice, amazing song, incorporating her journey through addiction, very powerful music. Come and say hello to us, guys. It's going to be awesome. Check out the Facebook page. See Sezen. She has all the details. Hey, Sezen, if you're out there. And it'd be great to see you down there. First time viewer, Lisa, welcome. Stay tuned, stay tuned. If you need to talk to anyone, give us a call, 0481 844 555. You don't need to do it alone, love, and we can send someone out to have a chat to you. There's always someone on the phone. Thank you for tuning in, love, really. And there's a lot more videos on there if you want to tune in as well. Lisa, thank you very much. Share the page, yeah, guys, share the page. Yes. So I'm just reading all that. Alright. Nice, let's get into it. Mate, Nathan, thank you for stopping by. And a sudden notice, wasn't it, mate, today? So good on you. Congratulations on 2 years clean, mate. I mean that.
It's this month, so...
Well done, bro. Well done. That's awesome. And we mean that because it takes courage to get clean. Mate, most people that pick up a pipe are still out there using and struggling with it.
Everyone I know is...
And I knew... Yeah, everyone I know is as well. It just takes people everywhere. So, mate, thanks for coming on. Let's share. This is for education and awareness, so we're going to talk to the camera a bit. And, you know, these videos are going to be out there years to come. So we want people to know what you've been through, mate, and your experiences with it. So tell us, mate. Tell us about your upbringing first. Like, were you, mate? How were you as a kid? Mate?
Oh, I had a pretty good upbringing, actually. It was a good point when you talk about it not discriminating, you know, it can get anyone. I was raised in a good home, good family, really supportive parents. I had a not too bad time at school, you know, a bit of bullying, that sort of thing, as it does everyone really. My parents were always there backing me up with everything I did though, and I just let a couple of life's issues just jump in the way, things that would affect, things that happen to everyone, and I just let it take me down that road and got into the ice addiction, you know, and I think it's actually due to my parents' support that is the only reason I'm even clean now. So that is a good point. I'm glad you asked that, because I think it is very valid to recognise that you know, it doesn't matter how good your upbringing is, this doesn't discriminate and it will find you, you know. It just, you might hang out with the wrong people or make, you know, one bad mistake, and if that's your mistake, it's a big one, you know. So
it doesn't let you go. If ice is your mistake, then yeah, it's
absolutely.
all over. Tell us, mate, were you drinking early or anything like that? Were there signs of you going down that?
Not really, that's another good point, you know. I started drinking when I was about 17, so I didn't really have any problem with substances until I was about 18, and it sort of just went straight into ice within a matter of months, you know. It didn't take me long to start getting down that path, into it.
Take us back to that actual time, mate, and speak us through how that all happened, where were you at, what were you feeling at that time, and how did it actually come about, and who offered it to you? Just for the people, man.
Alright, well, sort of try and condense this a little bit, but basically, when I was 18, there was a bit of a period there where I sort of felt like I had my life together. I was enjoying myself, had a job that I wanted, I was happy with that, had a girlfriend I was, really sort of in love with and all that. And it all sort of just went bad all at once, Mrs. broke up with me, lost my job as a result because I worked with her as well, so, that went down pretty quick, and I didn't really know what to do with myself, and initially it started out as a bit of a money issue, I started to need some money, and I was around some people that were sort of getting me into, selling some weed. It started out just small stuff, but the actual ice itself was really just a party one night. I was with some blokes, and they were just offering it around, and I remember the reason I took it was because when they offered it to me, and I said no, they went, oh, that's cool. I said, no, you don't smoke it? Oh, I didn't realise that, that's alright, you don't have to smoke it. And it was because they didn't push it on me that it made me feel more safe about it. Yeah. And I thought, these blokes are cool about this, and they're not how, they've been depicted to me before, that they're just going to force it down my throat, basically, then it must be not as bad as I thought it was. So, second time it came around the group, I actually had a go on it, and it was all just from there, eh?
Can you tell us about that first time you had it?
Yeah, sorry, I need to actually jump back there. I realised I've skipped some of the story here.
All good,
so what's happened is I basically started, getting into just the party drug sort of thing, a bit of, acid and pills like ecstasy and that. And I was just, trying to have a good time, just trying to get my mind off everything. And what essentially started out as a tiny problem, I reacted over the top. I had no reaction to it. And I started taking drugs, and that's where the real problem came into it. And then I was sort of addicted to just that party sort of lifestyle, and one night in particular I was down the Gold Coast with some mates, and I was king hit. I hadn't done anything wrong, my mates hadn't antagonised anyone, just walking down the street, some guy was real drunk, wanting to pick a fight, he's punched me from behind, it's broken my jaw in 3 places, and him and his mates proceeded to bash me while I was on the ground. Wow. It was actually that night, I've got to say, it was a huge turning point for me mentally, because it sort of broke me, when I realised I couldn't even walk down the street with my mates and just without, I couldn't be safe in that environment. And there was hundreds of people around at the time, and everyone just walked past because they didn't want to get involved. And I understand not wanting to get involved at the risk of being harmed yourself, but it's scary to think that there were that many people around that just, their reaction to it was just to watch me get bashed. So I spent that next week in hospital waiting on a jaw reconstruction, got that done, and I basically spent that time, minus when my parents were there, I was alone, and I was just thinking about how, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know, like, my mates weren't equipped to defend me in that situation. These blokes were older than us, bigger than us, all that sort of thing. And I thought, what do I do about this? And it was pretty quick from that point. I started hanging out with some older blokes that were a bit different to that, They were a bit quicker to arc up on the street, and you could go out in public, and if anybody wanted to start anything, they'd finish it for you, sort of thing, And so naturally, those kind of blokes are the ones who are getting into a lot of the things like amphetamines and stuff like that. And that's what brought me to that point that I was just telling you about with the pipe. And so I had to go back there because you just asked me what that was like. And like I've said before, I say to everyone, you never forget the first time you take ice. And I remember holding the pipe, and I thought to myself, I was trying to figure out, should I do this or not? And at that point in my life, I was feeling real suicidal. I just wanted to end it all, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. And so I was thinking, this could kill me. That's what I've been told. And I thought to myself, worst case scenario, this drug kills me, which is what I want to do to myself anyway, so it just shortcuts the process, or it'll give me a real good time and I won't care about my problems in my life. See, unbeknownst to me though, that wasn't worst case scenario. Death would have been a little bit easier than what ice actually does to you. It doesn't kill you, it takes everything away from you and just leaves a shell of a person, and you've got to deal with that. So that's the problem, you don't actually realise what worst case scenario is. You think it's death, and so you take that chance, and it's a lot worse than death. You've actually got to live through it and look at yourself, and when you come out the other end, like even me being clean now, I've still got all that to look back on now. So
if you make it out,
yeah, that's it.
People are just
2%, like we were talking about today. It's only 2%, and of those 2%, I mean, how many really survive? I don't want to be real dark about it, but that's unfortunately what this topic is. It's evil, it's dark. So even of those 2%, I mean, they're survivors. Are they really living? Was the word I should have used. They're not. The quality of life is severely diminished at that point, depending on how long you've been using. I mean, your health is damaged, your social life is damaged, your reputation is certainly damaged. I mean, there's plenty of people that just still think of me as a crackhead. You know, I've been clean for 2 years this month, and there's a lot of people that just still think, you know, Nathan's just going to go straight back to the pipe. And I understand that mentality if you don't understand, or even if you do understand the drug, because it's got real grip on you. But I know for myself, I'm never touching it again because I've seen what it did to me.
Yeah.
And the one thing I learned from my experience with all that is I was at the lowest point in my life before trying that drug. And I look back now and I realise that nothing at the time could have possibly made that situation worse. That's why I took the drug. But I realise now that no matter how bad your life is, there's only certain things that can get it down to that point, but once you're at that point, the only thing that can make your life worse is taking ice. It will always, not only can it, it always will make it worse.
Yeah. There's a joke that I think I've shared before. What do you give someone with everything? Give them ice and they'll have nothing in 12 months. It's, you know, it's not funny, but it's true. You know, I don't know anyone that has taken this drug and kept their life together. Just it's the same story over and over, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a different person in a different situation. You add the drug, and it doesn't matter what it is, what the things you take. You lose everything. You lose all your relationships, all that. You know, everything around you.
And it kills you it just starts killing you. Like you said today, which resonated with me. You're just sitting there dying.
Yeah, that's right.
As an addict, you're sitting there just dying.
You're just rotting away and you don't even realise you're doing it. You're delusional. You try and justify it in your own mind, and you just get angry when other people try and reach out to you and help you. You just think, oh, they're wrong, and then you just push them away. And so even the ones that do stick around and try and help you out, they become your biggest enemy in your mind because you're delusional and you think you're trying to take away the one thing that I love, even though you shouldn't. You don't really. It's the one thing that's killing you, and you're walking around dying, and you're constantly in pain. You don't realise, and you're crumbling away as a person. You know, it just strips you of your personality and your humanity, everything. You're just a walking corpse, basically. Yeah, walking corpse, an empty shell. We hear that time and time again. And with things like hydrochloric acid, acetone, lithium, ammonia, all this stuff that's in it, of course, that's going to eat away your organs. Of course, it's going to do damage to your brain. So not even once is our message, people, kids, and if you are struggling with addiction, I would encourage you to take the steps today, not tomorrow, to get clean. You can do it. I believe in you. If I can do it, if Nathan can do it, if Andrea can do it, you can do it. There is a life beyond addiction, beyond your wildest imagination. So have the courage and get clean today. Give us a call. Mate, that was full on. That's full on. So after you can answer that one, sorry.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So you gravitated to people that you sort of felt maybe safer around or something, and
that's right. Yeah, just older blokes, a bit quicker to engage in a violent situation. You know, which was sort of what I thought at the time I needed. When I realised now, looking back, it was making matters worse. But you know, at the time, you feel safer because I'm not getting bashed anymore. So. Sure.
And that's understandable, mate, with that happening on the Gold Coast when you got hit and stuff, you know, that's...
It was the fact that it was unprovoked, that's what really broke me, and if I'm being absolutely honest, I'm still not totally okay now. It's definitely changed my outlook on society in general, that it was just an unprovoked attack, and as it turned out, this guy had nothing to do with drugs anyway, you know, which would be a safe assumption, I would think. He was just drunk and just being a tool, you know. Yeah,
that's sad in our streets, you know, that happens still, and we hear a lot of it. The one punch and stuff. Mate, tell us, how did it change you as a person, and how quickly did it change you?
Us?
Yeah. Oh. How quickly did you go from... We shared on the intro that you got to $1,000 a day habit. Can you tell us from that first pipe, how quick did that happen? How quickly did your life change?
Well, yeah, the first time I took it, I mean, I sort of reflect on it and I sort of try and analyse how it actually goes, like you're asking, to that next stage. And for me, I think it is, you know, everyone sort of makes the mistake. I mean, it's the biggest mistake you can make anyway, trying it in the first place, but there's another little mistake you can make the first time you do it, is doing it at night, I find. Because you've been awake all day anyway, your normal living daily life, you take this drug and it's going to keep you up until midday next day. And if you have obligations that day, your first reaction is, I can't sleep now, I need another hit. So see, I went on a 3-day binge the first time I tried it because I needed to keep staying awake to do the things that I already said I'd go and do. I had obligations to meet, you know. And so I went on a 3-day binge and crashed hard after that, and honestly I think the addiction's pretty well set in by that point. I mean, one hit's enough, but one hit is more than enough, but doing a 3-day binge had me pretty hooked, and it became a once a week 2 to 3 day binge for about maybe 2 months until I started basically getting in with the guys enough to start selling enough drugs for them. That became a routine thing for me. I sort of this world of dealing drugs to get drugs became a sort of a thing that was presented itself to me, and an opportunity that presented itself to me, and I snatched that up as quick as I could because I needed a fix. You know, that's what you would do, just chase your high. And I saw a quick way to do it, and I started selling the drugs I needed to get on. And once I had enough money to get as much as I wanted, that's when it turned into about $1,000 a day habit, and I just it got really out of control. I was, you know, smoking a few grams a day, and that was probably the difference to answer your question about only 3 or 4 months. Surprisingly quick. I mean, when there's a will, there's a way, and with an addict, especially an ice addict, they're going to do it like whatever they need to, and they're going to go 100% at it.
Yeah.
Stuff on my words.
So that's like for people out there, $1,000 a day is a lot of gear to use. How long? I know you said you were staying up for 2 to 3 days, you know, once a week or something. How, when you were using $1,000 a day, what were you staying up for? Were you?
I'd usually stay up about 7 to 10 days. There was a couple of times there where I did go for 2 weeks. I mean, mind you, you're not eating in that time either. I found it was pretty routine for me that once I finally reminded myself, which would usually take me at least 8 days to go, oh, I haven't had anything to eat. And then you'd go and eat, and then all of a sudden there was a bit of normality in your system or something. It's like, oh, you've eaten, what are you doing? That's like reasonably healthy. Like, and then the drug would almost back off a bit, and then that's sort of when I would get off it and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So at least a week at a time I was up.
Can you tell us, like, anyone out there that's been up for a couple of days for whatever reason knows that sleep deprivation causes hallucinations and that. Can you tell us about the psychosis and the things you were going through after being up for a week?
Yeah, I'd see people walking through the house that weren't there. Even when I was trying to get to sleep, and I believe I wasn't high, I probably still was, but I'd be trying to get to sleep, and all of a sudden I'd hear someone kick the door, and there was no one there. But you know, you jump up out of bed looking for something to hit some intruder with because you think someone's coming in to rob you. And I'd be running around the house and freaking out over nothing, looking for someone who's not there. And I was talking earlier today about, you know, one night I was at a mate's and I wasn't familiar with the house, and so I was looking out this window and I've seen all these blokes coming up this driveway, and I was just sitting there for about 8 hours just staring out this window, freaking out, waiting for these guys to come barge in the house when my mates were asleep. I didn't want to wake them up. I'm sitting there, you know, in attack mode, waiting for these people to come in. Yeah. And I sat there all night staring at this spot, waiting for these guys to come in. As the sun rose up, I saw it was just a staircase and it was just the palings I was looking at, and I thought it was people stretched out. And that was one of the first times I'd suffered, you know, psychosis to that degree, and it really freaked me. It's pretty daunting to realise that was just in my head, you know?
Yeah.
But it didn't stop me from taking the drug. This is another thing, the addiction's that strong. You realise how messed up it is when it happens to you, and it freaks you out, and you go, oh geez, this is the drug doing it to me, and then you go, where's my pipe? I don't care, you know?
You don't stop.
Yeah, I'd rather be on it with the psychosis than have to get off for a minute.
Yeah. And what for you was the reason that you didn't stop in the height of that? What were you running from, man?
I'd just gotten so used to doing that, and then just so, like, I got to the point where, because I was dealing, I didn't know how to function in society anymore. It doesn't take long doing something like that, you know? Once you commit to, like, serious criminality, the thought of actually going back to a day job is horrendous, you know? You don't see how you could possibly do that. And on top of that, I mean, yeah, I looked like a junkie. I knew I looked like a junkie, and I didn't know of any employers that would want to hire me looking like that, and you can't change that overnight. And you know, it doesn't take long at all for your reputation to be changed, and I'm talking a matter of weeks, and everyone just knows me as a crackhead anyway. And this is something I've brought up with people before, that is that when you keep treating an addict like as though that's all they're going to be, and you keep putting them down and talking to them, and you know, using words that are really heavily offensive words, and just putting them down, you know, it's as good as picking up the pipe and handing it to them and saying, have another one because it's all you've got left, mate. Keep on going because it's all you've got.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming other people, not for me. That what I was just saying just then, I'm talking about what I see now with other people. But in my mind, when I was using, I did think that of myself. I'm not necessarily saying people said that of me, but I did think that of myself anyway, which is why I tell people now who do say it to users, don't say that, because they think it anyway. If you keep putting that, if you keep exacerbating that thought process, then they're going to constantly stay on the drug.
Yeah, just nail in the coffin.
They need to know that they're better than this drug, because we all are.
Yeah.
They need to understand that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going to get away from it.
Yeah, that's so true. And we really do have a compassionate view here about addicts. I don't know one addict that has a healthy self-esteem or self-worth. You know, everybody in addiction is struggling with something. So, can you share with us, mate, tell us what you lost because of this drug?
Well, pretty much, you know, probably 80% of what I thought were good mates at the time, I lost them because of my bad choices, because they didn't go down the same path I did. Like I said before, to be fair, on the outside there was no reason for me to have done it in the first place. I had a good upbringing, like we were talking about before, I had a good life, all that, but it doesn't discriminate, you know. Unfortunately, all the people that I was hanging around, they had no experience with it, so when I got into that lifestyle, they backed away, which is understandable. You don't want to have any part of that. So I lost a lot of my mates. I lost general social functionality, you know, like that took me a long time even after getting clean. I think I had to be clean for about a year before I come good from that, because you get used to sitting in a room or a crack den somewhere and you're just smoking away, and then even the thought of just leaving to go and get something from the shops just freaks you out, you know. I pushed my family away, but I can't say I've lost them, because you know, I've got to give them a lot of credit, because they've actually stood by me the whole way, and despite that, like all the horrible things I've done, the way I've treated everyone, they've stuck around. So I didn't lose them, and I'm lucky for that, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, really a lot of mates, and in the end, like financially, like I lost everything I'd ever worked for, because I mean, once you're dealing, it's all proceeds of crime to them. It's all gone, you know. They take everything off you, so I was lucky to be left with my car, really. So
can you just share? I just want to touch a bit more how you said your parents have stuck with you. So isn't this shining light and an example for parents out there who do have a loved one suffering, that miracles do happen, and not to lose hope, and to know that your son or your daughter, this loved one, isn't that addiction. You know, it's the drug that's causing this behaviour. So never lose hope. Miracles happen every day. We've got one sitting right here, and that's fantastic. You had family support, man. That warms me, you know, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, no, I was definitely lucky to have that.
And that's sad. Some people don't. So yeah, don't lose hope, guys. Contact the family support if you're a family member. 0481 844 555 it is. Okay, so mate, tell us about some of the darker stuff that you experienced in that time. Some, you know, tell us where it took you.
Oh, well, you know, if you saw who I was then, who I am now, you wouldn't accept really that it's the same person, not even to look at from the outside, but especially not to talk to. I couldn't talk properly to anyone back then, and I was a very unpleasant person to be around. I'm trying to use safe words here to describe myself that aren't too rude, but I was really a pretty terrible person to everyone at the time. I was very violent, not so much when I was on it, every time that I was off it, and at that point in the addiction, that's 20 minutes after a pipe. So unfortunately the high is very fleeting. You know, you take a good hit, you sit there for like, you sit the smoke down a few points, I get up and try and move around for 20 minutes. In 20 minutes time I'm already need another hit. So whoever's in between me and my pipe then is going to cop some serious aggression and potentially some physical violence. So I did that to a lot of my mates who never deserved it. I've been trying to make amends for it over the last couple of years, and it's really hard. Fortunately, I've got some really understanding mates, so I've been able to work on those relationships, but there's some things that are irreparable. And yeah, I was just really arrogant when I was on it, you know. You only think about yourself. It's just that ego, you know. Everyone who takes ice, in my experience, that's what you do. You only look after yourself because you're the only one who agrees with what you're doing, really. So you only look out for yourself. Everybody else is the enemy. Yeah, really depressed as well, of course. You know, you're up all the time and you can't be awake that long without getting in your own head, and then add the psychosis and the delusion and all that, and you start thinking some real nasty stuff. It's hard to get away from that. So
you said suicidal lows. Is that what you were experiencing to it?
Yeah. I did it a lot. It's just that it was really easy for me just to sort of sit there and get real fried on the pipe and not do anything about it, but it was definitely on my mind a lot.
Yeah.
I was not a happy person at any point during that time, you know.
Was there any point, like that first time you had it, was there a party or something that first time, or was it pretty much straight away down and out and into the
I'd
darkness.
say the first time was pretty good. I remember thinking, this is amazing. I mean, that's the problem with it. I even remember saying to my mates, you know, like, it's this stuff. They said to me, what's it like? And I said, gotta be honest, it's so good, it's gotta be bad. Like, you can't compare it to any other drug. Like, drugs get you high, but you sort of feel like you're still mentally above it. But ice is just like it's telling you what to do. It's controlling you. You know that from the first time you take it. And yeah, so I'd say the first like 1 or 2 times was alright, and you think it's good, but then yeah, it's pretty quick that you just start going, oh, I'm just doing this because I have to now.
Yeah,
That's
and
how you
all
feel,
of the psychosis, all of that violence, and that comes very quickly from it. So it's definitely,
quickly, yeah.
the high is definitely not worth the low. So, mate, tell us about the cravings. I heard you mention some anger and stuff. How intense were the cravings for you and the withdrawals if you didn't have it? It sounds like you had a lot of it. What would you go through? Share to the people.
Well, I'd just be shaking, you know, the whole body would tense up. I'd feel like, you know, I was trying to lift something too heavy. That's what I used to, that was the only thing I could compare it to in my mind. You know, you're trying to lift something and it's way too heavy. That's what it felt like in my body. All my muscles were just really tense and tight. And I just couldn't, you know, think of anything other than the pipe. And eventually, if I couldn't get it, which was pretty rare, but if I couldn't get it, I'd just sort of almost burn out. I almost like exerted so much energy just sitting there thinking about it that I'd just pass out within about 45 minutes. But yeah, anyone that was sort of in my way, I'd just lose it, you know, I'd be smashing things, I'd be ready to hit people. People generally got out of my way because I think they understood what it was about, so it never actually came to a physical conflict, which is good, because that's on me, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it would have, if people tried to calm me down, I could see that they would have got to that stage.
Mate, what was the turnaround? You're 2 years clean. You've been through all of that. So tell us, what was the turning point for you?
Well, I was arrested in my home by the AFP, and I'd been thinking for months, which unfortunately is the same train of thought for most addicts, that I hate this drug. I hate that I have to get up in the morning. Well, I can't get up in the morning without taking it. I used to keep it in my bed right next to me. It was literally arm's length from me at any given time. And I couldn't get out of the bed without having a hit first, and a hit might be a couple of points. I'd be sitting there for maybe half an hour in the bed when I've just woken up. I'd go from half awake to buzzing within like minutes, and I just hated that. I hated that I had to reach for a pipe every morning and then get stuck in the bed for half an hour to an hour before I actually was able to get out of the bed and start doing something. Within 20 minutes from that point, I'm back in the room smoking it again because I needed to do that to be able to leave the house. It was just a repetitive cycle, which get me to the point where I need to take it with me in the car. It's ridiculous. You don't want to take it, like, I'm driving on this stuff, you know? People can't do that, you know? And I really wanted to get away from it for that reason, but also the people I was dealing with, I was getting a lot of threats because, you know, there's a lot of money involved, so we're not really just talking about the drugs here. It is all around the drugs, but the people that I was dealing with money, going back and forth, they started getting very violent, making threats towards me, towards my family. They did not know of this, but, you know, they were threatening me, they'd do things to my family. So I got to the point where I just really was thinking about how do I get out of this, and I actually considered turning myself into the police at one point, a couple of weeks before I was busted, and I didn't do it because I was more scared of the repercussions of having done that. But when the federal police actually walked into my house, I actually just went, yeah, thank God. They announced themselves, and I just walked down the room and went, yep, look, I'll work with you, it's all here. I opened up, I had a safe and all that, I just opened it all up for them. I said, here's all my stuff, here's my phone, I don't care, just take it. I said, I'm just giving up, you know. And I just told them, but basically I just told you guys, you know, I was over it, and I'm just glad that they got me, because I was this close to death anyway, I reckon, either by these people or the addiction killing me, because I was just so unhealthy at that point, so dysfunctional, I couldn't do anything, you know. So the turning point for me, to answer your question, was being arrested took the ice away from me. It disallowed me to have that hit every 20 minutes, and having been forced to burn out, as I was telling you before, and actually go without it for half a day is actually a seriously long time for somebody who's using as much as I was. So half a day is probably the equivalent of like a couple of weeks for a weekly user or a couple of daily user, you know. So once I'd gotten past that half a day, it was a big difference. I felt the addiction was already lessened a little, and I just went, great, let's just get over this. I signed myself up to a rehab. By the time I got in there, I'd been about a month clean. It was just an outpatient rehab at the PA hospital. Really good guy, worked with the psychologist. He really understood everything that was going on with me. Real professional. He's really, really helpful. He knew what he was talking about. And that helped me through it. And the federal police were actually really helpful with me despite my situation, my charges. They seemed to understand who I was. And this is what we talk about. You know, you got to treat the addict as the person they are. And they even said that to me, like, you're just a kid who's just been caught up in stuff. We see this stuff all the time, and we know it's ice. We know what this problem is. And so they treated me with a lot of respect and decency, and I really appreciate that. And, that support, my family, my parents, straight away, you know, as soon as I was busted, there was no attacking me over, what have you done, you idiot, you know. There was no, look at what you've done, you're just a criminal. Because they didn't know what was going on, they didn't know what I was into. And all this is just blown up, and their reaction was really surprising. I've armed myself up for a natural reaction of them turning around and being like, we want nothing to do with you, but they just turned around and said, look, we're going to help you, you're really addicted, let's sort this out. Wow. And did it as a team. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, so
well done to your parents.
Yeah.
Well done. Round of applause for that. Good on you for that. Keep going, man. You share.
Sorry, yeah. Well, no, that was it, man. Like, just seeing how much support I had, despite how much of a prick I'd been to everyone for the last 2 years, really opened my eyes that these problems I thought I had in life were all non-existent. It was just the pipe. That's the thing. You start off with a bit of a, you know, you stub your toe, so what, you cut the leg off. You know what I mean? That was my reaction by taking ice, you know, and I'm sitting there going, hang on, you know, I've done this to myself. If I get rid of this, all my problems are gone. Yeah. The problems that I had, they're 2 years old. They faded off in the distance years ago. It's this drug now, so...
Nice. Tell anyone out there who might be struggling with addiction or may come across this drug, down the lens, mate, what would you have to say to them?
You've got people out there that want to support you. You're not alone in what you're doing. Everybody who's ever gone near ice has done the exact same things you've done, and no damage that you've done is irreparable to the point where you shouldn't work on it. You absolutely should work on it, and the sooner you do it, the better, quite frankly. There's nothing that can't be fixed to a manageable extent, and if you start working on it now, life will just be so much better. And something that I can really take from this is that there's so many things in my life now that I cherish that I didn't see before taking ice. You really appreciate life now. I seem a bit funny to some of my mates sometimes, so we're sitting out the back watching the sunset. They go, what's wrong with you? And I'm sitting there just going, look at it. I'll be sitting there going, I'll be looking at bars right now.
Yeah,
or I could be dead.
The people are coming to get me. That's crazy.
So, you know, there's a lot of things you can appreciate in life now. So if you can really just get past that addiction, because it's not you. You know, I don't care who you are. It's not you, and you're better than it. It doesn't matter what you've done to get to that point of what you've done while you're on it. You're still a decent person down there, and it's up to you how you move on with this. And we're all here to help you, and I'm sure there's plenty of people in your life that help you too. And if you're like me, you'll think they're your enemy until you actually get off it, and you'll see how many people are actually sitting there lining up, just waiting for that day that you turn around and said, please help me.
Yeah, well said, man. Love it.
Our number is 07566 56063. If you're struggling with addiction, get in touch with us. Family support again is 0481 844 555. Well said, mate. I love everything you just said. Down the lens, one more question I like to ask is, in one word, describe ice.
Evil.
Yeah.
I say every time, it is the most concentrated form of evil that we've ever discovered on this planet, and I believe it always will be. It can take the most pure, nicest person and turn them into the nastiest thing you've ever seen, and it's not them. It's because the drug removes the personality and replaces it with itself, and it takes over. And yeah, it's just pure evil, obviously.
Anything else you want to share before we go? Anything else? Take your time, mate. If there's anything else, there's 8 billion people who are going to watch this over the time, maybe more. We're doing it for education for the kids. Everything you've shared has been amazing. Really, really awesome sharing, mate. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, just remember that it doesn't discriminate, so anyone at any time can be affected by this. There are a lot of people out there that don't understand. I'm not directing that at anyone in particular, but it is a misunderstood problem in society, I believe, and you just got to remember it doesn't discriminate. So when you see someone affected by it, they need help, not opposition. And the same goes for those who are using. Seek help. Don't run away from the people trying to help you because you think that they're the enemy, because nothing these people are going to do to you is going to be as bad as what you're doing to yourself with this drug.
Yeah, well said. No matter what you're going through in your life, ice is not the answer. No matter what you're going through. So, not even once is our message. Not even once. The high is not worth the low. That's really what we want to get out into the nation. Not even once is our message. We hear this story time and time again. It just kills and destroys everyone and anyone that goes near this drug. thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just going to check if there's any love the shirts. They're coming online soon. What amazing sharing, bro. I mean, that was fantastic. We're going to be back next week. That's it for us tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Be sure to share this video. Be sure to invite people to watch this show every week. Stay tuned. We've got so much happening. Have a look at the website, australianantiicecampaign.org.au. If you want to join the army, We'd be greatly appreciative of that. We'll see you next week, guys. Lots of stuff happening.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!